easy time. It's Frankie Russo coming over here. Someone's talking, announcing something we're going to say next week. It's the studios are wrapped up, so I'm over here. I'm at Ernie J's house in Downtown Heights, Brooklyn, man. That's what I'm talking about. Brooklyn, King, over here in Brooklyn. How's my mic? You working?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
We're good?
Go.
So listen. Okay, so we're working it. DT's doing his thing. What we got? Today he got that chick, Kat McFarland. She's part of the National Security Council. We know about Mike Pompano, CIA Director. We know about Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. He's the National Security Advisor. And who's the other? Oh yeah, United States Senator Jeff Sessions. He's Attorney General. Now we're waiting on this Secretary of State. You know, Mitt Romney. You know, I don't know. General David Petraeus, I think, would be awesome, but I don't know if he's going to get through it because of what he went through with his issues with the classified documents, with his chick, his side chick, that he was, you know, and she ended up taking his information, because he's classified, he was a CIA director at the time, so she took his information and she published it. So he violated, they sanctioned him. So hopefully, you know, I like General Petraeus is also rumored to be in the running for Secretary of State, and it would be a good idea, man. I think it would be awesome. So, you know, I don't know. And, you know, when it comes down to it, it's the president's call, DT. I trust DT. I'm not going to, you know, I don't overanalyze if it's Mitt Romney or should he have a public apology. That's out there. So I don't know, you know.
I don't see a video going out.
No video going out?
No video. Is it,
I got 15 viewers right now.
no, that could be.
I got 15 viewers, bro.
You're broadcasting?
This is live. Oh, you checked it in the back?
Yeah, I'm checking on my computer, and it says that you're live, but it's a black screen, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just,
People are...
it looks like everything...
I got 14 views, yeah.
Oh. Hello to the 14 viewers. I hope you're getting a video. We should have more setup time, but you do it best you can.
Yeah, because it was a last minute thing. But anyway, so we got this thing going on, this thing with, I was looking at, this thing with Boeing and Airbus. I gotta find the article. I'll go on my iPad. They're claiming that Obama signed off, the stuff, jihad radicalism is signed off on enabling 100 airplanes to go to, with Airbus and Boeing, to go to Iran. So I just want to find the article here. That's crazy, right? Iran, Airbus. Let's see. Yeah, I'm doing my here we go. United States okays Airbus sale of over 100 airplanes to Iran. So I got a call today. One of my lefty friends called me. Hey, freaking Russo, you're a freaking, going on here, know what you're talking about. You know, I'm like, you know, what are you saying? I don't know what I'm talking about. He goes, well, you know, Frankie Russo, you don't. I said, bro. I said, let me ask you a question. Whatever I say, there it is.
I got you.
You did a great job. Whatever I say, court papers, judge's decision. I'm outside looking in. Statistical significance. Court papers, judge's decision. I got the peer-reviewed journal articles. We got well-sourced open source articles, and we draw. You know, we draw well thought out conclusions. Frankie Russo Media. I got a 16-part series, Obama Clinton crime family. It's statistically significant, I believe. And now we're giving 100 planes to Iran. So what are we going to see next? Planes going into buildings? They're the world's largest state sponsor of terror. They've been killing Americans and killing our allies since the 80s with the Beirut bombing, with Iran and Hezbollah. I don't know, man. I just can't get it out of my thing that Obama is a stealth radical Islamist. Stealth jihad radical Islamist. U.S. said to okay Airbus sale of over 100 planes to Iran, according to Times of Israel. Republicans warn approval of deal will bolster Islamic Republic, but Obama vows to veto any legislation barring it. Why am I not shocked? That radical Islamists. The Obama administration has green-lighted the sale of more than 100 Airbus planes to Iran. We can't get DT in there quick enough, quite frankly, right? Two U.S. officials with knowledge of the matter said the European manufacturer got permission Monday to export 106 more planes to Iran. The officials weren't authorized to speak publicly on the matter and demanded anonymity. You believe this? You know? Yeah. Anonymity as they mail in the airplane wooden pellets, unmarked plane, $1.7 billion of unmarked bills to Iran. We're giving them planes now. Airbus needs Treasury Department approval because at least 10% of the plane's components are American made, hoping to replace its aging. Wow. Iran has agreed to purchase tens of billions of dollars worth of planes from Airbus and its American competitor, Boeing. Now, what's really interesting with this whole thing is an interesting tie-in. And oh my goodness!
Sammy goes viral with.
Sammy's going viral. This is Sammy the cat. I'm over here with Dr. Heights. You know, this is I'm a dog person. You know what I'm saying?
He's security for Frankie Russo's equipment over here. He's watching out.
I'm telling you. So, but anyway, Hillary Clinton's shadow. This is Breitbart News. Hillary Clinton's shadow diplomat ran big money Iran and Russian deals. Interesting. Former Ambassador Thomas Pickering, who last made the news by forgetting to mention he was getting paid by Boeing while lobbying for Iran nuclear deal, which just happens to have facilitated a $25 billion deal for Boeing. Pickering, unfriendly foreign interests and Titanic Clinton money machine. The Center for Security Policy says the report reveals Pickering's overlapping roles as advocacy groups as a paid director for a Russian firm selling pipeline to Iran and Syria, and a paid consultant to Iranian aircraft contractor Boeing, and as a Senate committee hearing witness, all with a common goal of ending economic sanctions in Iran and reversing U.S.-Iran sanctions. Pickering's ties to the Russian firm TBK are even stronger than the consulting relationship he enjoyed with Boeing when the Iran deal was under construction. And what's really crazy, Thomas Pickering. Think about that. Who's Thomas Pickering? What was he involved with? Oh my God. Thomas Pickering was the original, him and Admiral Mueller, the original people that our distinguished Secretary of State appointed to do the initial accountability review on Benghazi. Really? Thomas Pickering! There he is! Good old Thomas Pickering. Look, there he is. There he is. Look at this guy. He's the guy that said that Hillary Clinton and Obama, he exonerated Hillary Clinton and Obama for Benghazi. And they paid him a nice fee. Nice fee. Nice, right? Unbelievable. Right? Thank God, you know. And you know what's crazy too? They got Jill Stein now. She's calling out a recount, which I don't understand. Craziness. A recount. She's last time I heard, she's recounting Wisconsin. But I don't know. You see, I got to check that out because it's my understanding that they need to show, there needs to be fraud involved. And according to Nate Silver, who's not a fan of Trump, he's a New York Times consultant, and he's also a Democrat. He claims that Trump won fair and square. So I don't understand. 538.com. I don't get that. Another thing, by the way, our distinguished president, he's doing it again. He did it again. Not even sworn in yet. He stopped that SUV line in Kentucky.
Right.
He did that.
St. Louis.
And that in St. Louis too.
Mm-hmm.
And now
he's working on
Carrier in Indiana.
Air conditioning.
Right. He's just an amazing. He's just an amazing. I tell you, we're so fortunate to have DT in the spot right now. I tell you the truth. Trump cites progress in keeping Carrier air conditioning plant in Indiana. Trump lobbies Carrier to keep. Let's see well, either one. The Times they're both against us. The Times and the USA Today. So I'm going to go with the USA Today.
I got his transition lined up.
Okay.
You want to play that and inject that into the program?
What transition you got?
The one that you told me to go get off YouTube.
Oh, the Donald Trump. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You want
for it? We'll roll it.
Yeah. Let me read this. Stay with me. I'm going to read. I just want to go through this quickly, and then we're going to transition to Donald Trump's first address to the as the president-elect about his transition team. Very interesting. Trump lobbies Carrier to keep Indiana plant open. President-elect Donald Trump spent at least part of his Thanksgiving trying to convince Carrier Corp to keep its Indianapolis plant open. Trump on Thursday hinted that he's making progress toward a campaign pledge of reversing Carrier Corp's plan to shutter. It's late at night. Its Indianapolis operation and relocate jobs to Mexico by 2019. I'm working hard even on Thanksgiving, trying to get Carrier AC company to stay in the United States, Indiana. Trump said in a Twitter post, making progress. We'll know soon. That'd be amazing if he stops them. I mean, this guy is just absolutely amazing. I mean, he's an animal. I love this guy. He just don't stop working.
Him and Putin are getting ready to negotiate too.
Wow.
It's an open
dialogue. Interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So now we're going to kick to the Trump transition speech he made.
This was an address.
An address to the people. His YouTube, his Twitter, his social media address to the. This is his. Trump has he has 1.7 billion views.
A few more, thanks to Frankie Russo.
Absolutely. God bless you. And this is Ernie J from Dyker Heights doing a great job for us over here. We're over here.
I would like to provide the American people with an update on the White House transition and our policy plans for the first 100 days. Our transition team is working very smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Truly great and talented men and women, patriots indeed, are being brought in, and many will soon be a part of our government, helping us to make America great again. My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. These are just a few of the steps we will take to reform Washington and rebuild our middle class. I will provide more updates in the coming days as we work together to make America great again for everyone, and I mean everyone.
That's it.
Over here, Frankie Russo show live stream. Go to Frankie Russo 44.3 Facebook. Okay. Black Friday. This is the Drudge Report. Black Friday. People are going nuts. Some people are actually getting whacked. You know. Donald Trump did a great job as always. I tell you, I'm so excited about his presentation. I'm all excited about what he wants to do. Trump media feud enters new era. Look at this. I want to see what this says on Drudge Report.
I'm going to look up the Thanksgiving.
You're going to look up Thanksgiving? Okay, cool. Trump's media feud enters new era. This is according to The Hill. Donald Trump and the media are settling into an uneasy relationship. Distrust and ill feelings are held on. Well, Donald Trump has a right, quite frankly, the way he's been treated, right? And no one is predicting the final months of the... they thought he was going to disappear. They never thought he was going to win. God bless. Trump in his Tuesday meeting with reporters and editors at the New York Times offered an olive branch.
Not for nothing, we kept the faith from day one.
Absolutely.
Before he even rolled
absolutely,
down the escalator,
Ernie J does.
Were there.
Absolutely, Ernie J does all of the Trump sound bites from the day Trump went down the escalator that I had on the Frankie Russo show. It was Ernie J over here at Dyker Heights. He cut all those sound bites. And so the New York Times, editors at the New York Times offered an olive branch acknowledging that he's a longtime reader and pledging a willingness to develop a professional working relationship. I would like to turn it around, Trump said. I think it would make the job I'm doing much easier. But, you know, we can't trust him. We just can't. I hate to say it, but we can't. You know, it's something, so it's something that... And by the way, moving this thing forward, they're saying fake news label. The left, you know, the lefties claim that the right that we invoke fake news, and that's what one of my boys said to me today. Called me up, this big lefty. Oh, Frankie Russo, you don't know. You're a Guido. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. I said, let me ask you a question. I cited him. I was talking about the blind sheik. I said, why are you talking about the blind sheik for? Because he was talking about terror. He's the father of Homeland terrorism, and the way he got into this country is the same way that the guy from San Bernardino got into this country. It's crazy, right? We still have to think, with the grace of God, Donald Trump will fix this thing. The blind sheik got in the same way. The blind sheik married an American Muslim convert and got in. Al Farouk Mosque.
Frankie, right now, at this moment, 1,500 illegals a day.
1,500 illegals.
Swamping
because they know DT's getting ready to put the hammer down.
It's coming, baby.
Right?
I think the contracts are already going out. It's going to be a fast track wall.
Sounds good to me. Whatever DT needs to do to fix this thing, right? So just to give you an idea, we talk about like court cases and judges' decisions. For example, the 650 Fifth Avenue case is a case that talks about the building on 53rd Street and Lexington Avenue that was owned by the Shah of Iran, and then the Pre-Bahara filed a complaint. Judge Catherine Forrest came down with a ruling that Iran money was being funneled through 3 front organizations in America to the Islamic Republic of Iran. That's statistically significant. These are the kind of things. Then you got the Kelly Moore article and the Lewis and Clark, who talks about all the activities of the blind sheik that went on in the Al Farouk Mosque and the Jersey City Mosque with Muhammad al-Nudi, and you have Musa Abu Marzouk, all encompassing the Holy Land Foundation, the Holy Land Foundation trial, the biggest money laundering scheme for terror in this nation's history. And these are the kind of things that we talk about. So I don't understand. There's no fake news here at Frankie Russo, 77 WABC. No fake news. So, you know, we deal with, we're on the outside looking in, I'm not going to lie, but we keep it real. CNN is obviously the Clinton News Network, we did a blackout on the CNN on November 20th. CNN is taking an increasingly negative approach. And why am I not shocked? So we're going to take care. We're taking care of them. We're going to black out on them. Stories outside corporate agenda dismissed. This is I'm on Drudge report. Trump says that, we talked about making Millie says that Pelosi should go. I thought she already left. Oh my God! You know what's crazy? I was listening to this guy Cliff High, because they're saying that Pelosi must go and to bring back the Democratic Party or whatever. They're claiming. He tells me to look into the camera. But
the engineer, I'm the director.
Yeah, exactly. He's directing me too now. That's really cool. You know, what's really something is that the Democrats are trying to, they're saying, well, they're going to come back. They got Chuck Schumer as the for the Senate. He's the minority leader for the Senate.
Right, yeah.
I think I'm pretty certain he was voted in. They got this guy, Pelosi's running this guy Murphy on the House side, a Democrat. So, but this guy Cliff High, who predicted, he's a predictive linguistic data scientist, and he uses all the analytics from the internet, and he gets these aggregate. They call them aggregate data sets. And he was on the USAWatchdog.com with Greg Hunter like last week or a week before. He was on twice, and he talked about conceivably that the Democratic Party is going to run into trouble by 2020. Mm-hmm. They got elections coming up in 2 years, and they got like 20 plus seats on the table for re-election.
And we're not going to forget.
No, we're not forgetting
what Obama did to this country.
Very bad.
And what Clinton wanted to continue.
Absolutely. Very bad. Very bad. Hillary Clinton. And by the way, you mentioned that. Hillary Clinton, we got to hit. She's got to get hit. Either she gets indicted or Obama pardons her, or this way, if Obama pardons her, it's assumed guilt. That's it. It's done. And then they put the cork on the.
Got to hit the flush handle.
That's right.
Flush them out.
That's right. And then the Clinton Foundation, and then we get rid of Chelsea, and that's it.
Don't feel sorry for Chelsea either.
No, because she benefited.
They just bought her a $6 million house in Chappaqua.
That's right next door, so she can run.
They want to try and carpetbag.
That's right, for
into
Congress.
The New York political scene. Get lost, Chelsea.
And does Jill Stein? Mysterious case of Jill Stein's surging recount costs. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm looking at all published reports on this, and this is absurd. She's claiming recounts she's raising money for Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The Detroit News is already, by the 28th, they're going to be saying that the Michigan election's official. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's, whether it's 10,000, 11,000, he won Michigan, he won Pennsylvania, and he won Wisconsin.
Did he pick up more electoral
votes? He did. He's got over 306.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, good.
He crushed her. And let me tell you, and this is, between us, I don't believe that those numbers are right on the public vote.
No.
He beat her. It was like, I came home, it was before the election, like a few days before the election, they were interviewing this guy from Ohio. I told you about this, the guy from DNC. And they were talking about how well Trump was doing in Ohio. And this DNC political operative says, we just don't know where these votes are coming from.
People who haven't voted in 30 or 40 years,
it's true.
That's where they're coming from.
They just couldn't control the Trump tsunami.
Had enough of all of these politicians.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. They're claiming on the Drudge report that General Petraeus is in the running for Secretary of State. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. That would be amazing.
Great.
That would be. I mean, if he could get it, Trump. I mean, I believe in Trump. If Trump gets him through, I mean, Trump's good. So I'm really down with whatever DT wants to do. I trust him. I think.
Whenever you want to break to the Thanksgiving full speech here.
Okay, we'll go and let me see if I find something here. Mm-hmm. Okay, because foreign.
This is really on the fly.
What's going on with it? Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's on the fly. What's going on with Israel and Israel's foreign planes combat Israel wildfires as arrests are made? Foreign fighting planes on Wednesday helped Israel tackle a wave of wildfires that have forced tens of thousands to flee their homes. Yeah, because they were saying faced for the past 4 days with blazes across the country, fed by drought and high winds, Israel received airborne assistance from Russia, Turkey, Greece,
Wow.
and Croatia. Very cool.
I haven't heard that anywhere.
Right?
This is being reported first on your show.
Wow, nice. The flames in many places appeared to be easily somewhat despite the persistent wind. Things can change and develop, a spokesperson from AFP.
You know, not for nothing, now is a good time to give kudos to the guys who really put out and tried to help Trump get elected. Men like Sean Hannity.
Oh yeah,
Dr. Savage.
we gave them
Alex Jones.
we gave them kudos from the 2 weeks. I mean, absolutely, there was Sean
Gotta keep
Hannity,
reminding the people that these
Alex
guys
Jones,
to listen to.
Judge Janine Pirro,
Janine, yeah.
and then who else?
Mike Gallagher's
Mike Gallagher's
in the
good.
morning.
Okay, very good. Who else?
Even Mark Levin came
Mark
around
Levin.
after a while.
I shouted him out. Mark Levin. He was with Cruz, and then
This is the real new news. Not the fake news.
Absolutely.
This
ain't fake news.
CBS and ABC.
This ain't fake news. So listen, we got that queued up.
Yes, we do.
So we're gonna go. Where we going with?
Thanksgiving full speech.
Yeah, we got Trump's address to everybody on Thanksgiving. Then we'll come back. We'll do more Frankie Russo. You know what I'm saying? Frankie Russo. We're getting ready. Next week I'll be on the air at 77 WABC. They told me next weekend. So we're keeping this popping over here in Brooklyn as we
We're
get
very
ready.
blessed to call this nation our home.
Cool.
And that's what America is.
Got the man
It is
coming through?
our home.
Yeah,
It's where we raise our families, care for our loved ones, look out for our neighbors, and live out our dreams. It's my prayer that on this Thanksgiving, we begin to heal our divisions and move forward as one country, strengthened by shared purpose and very, very common resolve. In declaring this national holiday, President Lincoln called upon Americans to speak with one voice and one heart. That's just what we have to do. We've just finished a long and bruising political campaign. Emotions are raw and tensions just don't heal overnight. It doesn't go quickly, unfortunately. But we have before us the chance now to make history together, to bring real change to Washington, real safety to our cities, and real prosperity to our communities, including our inner cities. So important to me and so important to our country. But to succeed, we must enlist the effort of our entire nation. This historic political campaign is now over. But now begins a great national campaign to rebuild our country and to restore the full promise of America for all of our people. I'm asking you to join me in this effort. It's time to restore the bonds of trust between citizens, because when America is unified, there is nothing beyond our reach, and I mean absolutely nothing. Let us give thanks for all that we have, and let us boldly face the exciting new frontiers that lie ahead. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
God bless America, Donald Trump said. Absolutely. This is the Frankie Russo Show. Unfortunately, the studios were closed this weekend, so I'm over here in Brooklyn, Dyker Heights. I was like bumming all day. I don't know what to do. I was like going crazy. So Ernie J over here from Dyker Heights put it together for us, and he's the gentleman that does the
Soon to be retired from MSG.
he's a big audio engineer at MSG.
Audio, video,
Audio,
lip sync.
Wow, nice.
You gotta match up the lips to the video.
You know, it's funny. Look at this. Is AI, artificial intelligence, around the corner? Scientists close to creating living computer with human brain.
Yeah.
Computer scientists attempting to electronically replicate the human brain are close to creating a living PC. Crazy.
Yeah, George Soros wants to attach it to his brain so that he can live forever. Hey, it's serious.
Engineers at the University of Massachusetts are developing microprocessors which mimic biological synapses, the nerve cells which pass messages from the human brain. Wow. Professors of electrical and computer engineering at the U.S. College at University of Massachusetts. Work focuses on a computer component that could change science forever, switching the focus from electronics to iconics. This means computers of the near future will be able to shut on and off like a light bulb, not losing any data or flies in the process. I tell you, they got robots, these virtual robots having sex, having genitalia. They're claiming that the chicks like the virtual reality sex.
The chicks?
The chicks, the girls.
Oh, the chicks?
Yeah.
Well, it's because there's too many chicks and not enough men around.
That's what it is, the numbers?
That's a fact.
Wow.
What's the ratio, like 4 to 1 now?
Is it that much? No.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. But anyway, so this is on the Drudge, you know? Interesting stuff. I tell you, this holiday season is going by so fast. Tokyo, not to get off the subject, but Tokyo got its first snow in 54 years in November.
Yes.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I thought they had snow all the time, but that's only on the mountain peaks over there, not
interesting. You
down in the city.
And to move this a step further, Turkey, right? They're supposedly in this fake or real coup d'etat, and it's like crazy. I don't know. This guy Erdogan threatened Friday to walk away from a deal that has substantially reduced the flow of migrants to the EU, and also effectively end the membership bind by bringing back capital punishment. This guy's.
That's in Turkey.
This is in Turkey.
Okay.
It didn't work in Egypt with Morsi. Sisi took that over. Libya, forget about it. They threw Gaddafi out. Then they put the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which was headed by Abdel Hakim Belhaj with Mustafa Jalal. Mustafa Jalal died, and right they delisted. Listen to this one. This is how great Clinton is, right? With the Clinton State Department, they delisted this Libyan Islamic Fighting Group that took out Gaddafi, right? They delisted, meaning they took it off the terrorist watch list.
Okay.
And Abdel Hakim Belhaj is now, last time I heard, a few weeks ago, is heading up ISIS in Libya.
Oh, great.
Yeah, right. So it's like they are the founders of ISIS. They are. I mean, they armed the Al Qaeda affiliate, right? Al Qaeda, what is an Al Qaeda affiliate?
Nothing like leaving a pile of crap
right? and
for Trump to have to deal with.
Trump's got to fix
when
it
he gets in.
Trump was right during the campaign. They're ISIS. Mm-hmm. ISIS is a Sunni. I believe I haven't blogged it yet, but I'm going to get ready to do it. A Sunni Shia militia. They are, and who is the most dominant militias? There's a Sunni Shia militias. That is like, for example, in Mosul. You got the Iraqi special forces. You got the Shia militia backed by Iran. Mm-hmm. You got the Sunni Arab tribes involved. There's a Sunni Shia militia. They're making moves on this so-called ISIS, the Sunni militia. I believe that it's just semantical terminology by the media. They say ISIS. ISIS is whoever's the dominant Islamic militia.
Right.
And if you go throughout the region.
It's a hodgepodge.
It's a hodgepodge, exactly. Al Qaeda affiliates.
Yeah.
That's what they are. And we got to get ISIS.
ISIL.
Right, ISIS. It's just right, ISIS, Sunni militia, right? But when you look at it, wherever Iran is, that's ISIS. It could be argued that ISIS is really a Sunni Shia militia. The Sunni militia is the Al Qaeda affiliate. And the Shia militia is the militia backed by Iran.
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. Forget about it. Hezbollah is all over the place. But it's crazy when people. We got that credo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. It's crazy when they try to say ISIS is this Sunni militia. There's no way that Iran is going to allow ISIS, a Sunni militia, to go rogue in the region. Iran's got their mojo back. 150 billion back, 1.7 unmarked billion marked bills by the Obama-Clinton administration. So Iran They're in OPEC now. They're not. I mean, they're ready to rock and roll.
Oil war going on.
That's right, with
now?
Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, that's interesting you brought that up, because Saudi Arabia right now, according to all the experts, Saudi Arabia is very concerned about the market share, but they're also afraid what Iran's going to do. So they're concerned about the market share in OPEC, and the same token too, they're very concerned about what Iran's going to do in the region, because Iran is working with Russia and Syria.
They're also concerned about Trump opening up all energy sources in America.
That'd be unbelievable.
Go gun hole.
I love Trump.
Reopening the coal.
Trump to me we're so lucky.
Coal-fired energy, electric plants.
We're so fortunate. I tell you, Israel fires Al Qaeda. We're talking Al Qaeda-linked Palestinian militant group claims responsibility for the devastating blaze. Look at this.
Al Qaeda, sure.
It's a Palestinian terrorist group. The Mujahideen. It's crazy. I'm laughing because it's not funny. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Palestinian terrorist group has claimed to be behind several previous blazes in Israel. I mean, and everybody. We spoke about it last week. Mm-hmm. Israel. The Democrats are anti-Israel, and we talked about a little bit about this last week. From
they snubbed
Bernie Sanders,
Netanyahu.
Oh my God! And the positions that Obama has taken as the president. That even I read an article from the Post. The quotes from the Post. They were quoting Panetta. How Panetta was like, couldn't believe Obama's position on Israel. That Obama was actually getting upset because he was trying to get weapons, jet fighters to Saudi Arabia, and according to the international law, right. No country is supposed to have more weaponry, more of an arsenal than Israel. Mm-hmm. And Obama couldn't believe that's possible. That law is
just
actually.
Like he couldn't believe that there's no voter fraud. What? Voter fraud? No.
Unbelievable.
We just take busloads of people and move them from one election site to another, and they keep revoting.
So, why don't we kick to Credo? We got a little soundbite, one of our soundbites from the Frankie Russo show at 77 WABC.
This is where America is heading right now.
Right, under Donald Trump, absolutely. Frankie Russo show over here in Dyka Heights.
We cannot afford to be so politically correct anymore. We will honor the American people with the truth and nothing else. Our plan will put America first. Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. The American people will come first once again. I pledge to never sign any trade agreement that hurts our workers or that diminishes our freedom and our independence. We will never, ever sign bad trade deals. America first, again, America first.
Frankie Russo over here at Dyka Heights with Ernie J., our audio engineer, professional. And we just heard Donald Trump talk about some of the themes that he campaigned on, and that he's going to continue to put forth in his administration. Look at this. I just found on my Twitter by the master, one of my RJ Romano 1. I found on Twitter, Soros and a little payoff for Jill Stein. Jill Stein raises $4.6 million for election recount. Far more than she raised for the entire campaign. Wow. That's amazing. And it's my understanding that she needs fraud for this to actually be a prominent issue. We talked about this earlier. According to Nate Silver, there's no fraud here. Trump won. And he's a Democrat, New York Times.
And he didn't spend any money either. All right? They spent millions. What did they spend? I think under $2 or $3 million at the most.
It's unbelievable. Let's hear what I want to see what States.com has to say about this. States.com. They're interesting. This guy called. He fought all the polls. Statespoll.com fought all the He fought all the pollsters. Let me see what this
Try
guy.
and do a telephone call. Take calls.
We can take calls?
We could try.
Mm-hmm.
There's the number right there.
917-324-0514? Mm-hmm. If anybody wants to call and talk to Frankie Russo, we're going to try to take some live calls tonight. 917-324-0514. That'd be really cool. Now, I'm looking at this cat, statespoll.com. This guy called Trump to have like 315. I had Trump 290 to 305, 290 to 310. This guy, and we talked about this last week, he had Trump got 32% of the support from Hispanic voters, not including, except for California and New York. He did so well with Hispanic voters. I mean, there's no white supremacist here. His numbers are higher than Mitt Romney's numbers with Hispanic voters. His numbers are higher with African American voters. It's ridiculous. The mantra that these
white supremacists, bigot.
It's terrible.
It's all nonsense. They're just throwing words around that have no meaning anymore because they do not apply to Donald Trump.
And what they're saying is too that the absentee votes are out there, and the lefties are not counting them because the absentee votes, most of them are from the military. Right. Donald Trump is like 70 to 80% Trump.
Yeah.
So whatever popular vote they're claiming Hillary Clinton to have, it's not.
He had the military and law enforcement wrapped
up. And bro, quite frankly, I just don't believe between the machines crashing, between the fake polls where the methodology was not scientific, and the heavily weighted random samples to the Democrats, and the demographics they flipped on those models, the fake polls that is in the WikiLeaks. You got the rigged debates that frames it, and then you got these rigged news cycles. So this whole mainstream media was rigging this whole thing, and I don't believe that people are waiting online in Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin, in Ohio, in Michigan to vote for Clinton. They're waiting to vote for Trump.
Truck drivers driving across America, all they saw were Trump flags, Trump signs everywhere.
So they're pitching this mantra that Trump, that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, and then when it really comes down to it, she just has her popular vote totals are on the California and the New York areas, the tri-state area of New York and California. Everything else is red.
The Clinton Goliath was a fraud.
And you know what's really, it came out? It came out that, like in Florida, the Democrats had like 51 offices. The RNC had 61.
Okay.
61. So the ground game that even the mainstream media couldn't be honest about the ground game. I was just like, it's crazy. They couldn't even be honest about the ground game.
I mean, every rally that Trump held.
Oh my God!
Tens of thousands.
Bro, like I said,
everywhere he went.
I took the numbers last week. Trump got 1.4 billion views. Come on, man. And like I said, there was a guy from because we talked about Cliff High. We talk about him on the show all the time. He's the predictive linguistic guy. He takes these aggregate data. And then this other guy, the artificial intelligence, Rye. He has the data from the social media that has Trump doing 25% better in Twitter engagements than Obama in 2008. So all these models, these antiquated models that they're using to frame the arguments through mainstream media with these polls and these heavily weighted to the Democrats and the skewed demographics, according to all the data scientists, you just got to go to the internet. It's according to these cats, it's very predictive, and it's statistically significant. It's when these people are picking who they're gonna view, and Trump gets 1.2 views.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That person's not bothered by a poll. That person's not bothered by. That person is on his or her own, clicking to view, and they believe that's a tremendous. They believe that's statistically significant. These data scientists. It's interesting. But what else we got? We got anything else to pop up?
Let's give it a shot here.
What else we got? Let's see. So we got some. So this is Frankie Russo over here in Dyker Heights. Black Friday was crazy. We said that. What else could we talk about tonight that I didn't talk about?
Okay, let's see what's going to happen January 2017.
2017, that's Trump's getting inaugurated.
Yep.
January 20th, January 20th, 2017. Donald Trump will be inaugurated.
On January 20th of 2017, the day I take the oath of office, Americans will finally wake up in a country where the laws of the United States are enforced. We are going to be considerate and compassionate to everyone. But my greatest compassion will be for our own struggling citizens.
Frankie Russo over here is Donald Trump. He's going to be inaugurated January 20th, 2017. Beautiful thing. So I think we touched upon everything. You know, it's unfortunate that people die on this Black Friday shopping spree. I haven't shopped yet, but that's me.
I stay away from it.
I know, me too.
Well, I had to work tonight.
So what do you think? You think Romney needs to do a public apology for people to accept him as the Secretary of State? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not thrilled about having him as Secretary of State, but I'm going to put that on Donald Trump's. That's his judgment. You know, I'm not going to go tit for tat on that. Me, I'm more concerned about what getting Hillary Clinton hit. You know.
I'm a little, old school when it comes to that, and I feel, even though it came from the Godfather movie, it has some validity that you keep your friends close, but your enemies even closer. And the way that guy was speaking, he wasn't speaking like any friend.
That is true, and I think, I mean, that's an interesting point, and I also think to add to that, I think Donald Trump really is looking for, like, he's more from a business perspective, and maybe he feels Romney has all of the.
Romney has. If I'm wrong, wasn't Romney a hatchet man? Didn't he go around raiding corporations and?
Yeah, but I mean,
slashing jobs left and right.
Well, I mean, I don't know his full background. I know he's earned a lot of money. He's a big business guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I like Rudy myself. I go with Rudy, or if he can get General Petraeus in, I mean Petraeus would be awesome too. I mean, I trust Trump. Honestly, I don't think Trump is gonna. What's that in the background? What's music?
Could be some RF leaking in.
Oh yeah, RF leaking.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's so low you can't even hear it.
In-house.
It's so low.
FM going.
But anyway, so I think if he could get Petraeus would be an interesting selection, man. I mean, Hillary Clinton had a State Department server in the basement of a house, giving uncleared people. You know, I had a lefty call me up and tell me that's not true. So I said, well, James Comey said that he said yes to it. That was what Jason Chaffetz, the chairman of the Congressional Oversight Committee that was questioning him, asked him point blank.
She was guilty, but the intent wasn't.
But then, according to Andrew McCarthy, he rewrote the statute because there's no intent. Intent doesn't have to be into that statute. He said extremely negligent, which is the language used in the statute.
Officer, I didn't intend to go through that red light, but things happen.
This is a great show, but I really miss the people. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
There's nothing like talking to people live and asking questions, getting different viewpoints,
mm-hmm.
and having getting some interesting information, interesting perspectives, and having fun too at the same time. Well, I really miss it.
You had to let the people know that you're still alive. You didn't get kicked off the
right.
air.
I'll be with the grace of God. I'll be on the air next weekend.
A glitch that occurred, and ABC is selling peanuts tonight or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that, but because I want to get back on the air.
Well, that's me talking.
Yeah.
So,
I want to get back on the air. So, what else we got? So I'm on Drudge right now. I'm looking to see what else we can talk about. I think we hit a lot of stuff. We hit the NFL oversaturation hurting ratings. I don't know. I was watching the football. It was interesting.
Mark Levin made a comment today about that guy who refuses to stand for the national anthem.
Kaepernick.
Yeah.
What did he say?
No, I don't remember the exact comment.
Right.
But I answered him back. I said, grown men playing kid games, it's kind of ridiculous.
You know what's really interesting, because I was in my gym and somebody said to me that, the person that wrote the national anthem was a slave owner. His name was Francis Scott Key.
Scott Key, yeah.
So I checked into it, and he was right. Francis Scott Key was a slave owner, but what the gentleman refused to do is look at the entire background. He was an attorney. So at first he was pro-slavery, but as his life went on, he became anti-slavery. Mm-hmm. Francis Scott Key became so much anti-slavery, they called him the N lawyer. He was representing the slaves to try to make them free. So he went from a slave owner that was pro-slavery to being anti-slavery. He redeemed himself. So I mean, nobody wants to look at the entire picture.
Right.
And that's the same thing with a guy named John.
And nobody wants to admit that the slaves were, started up in Africa.
Well, there were. What you're trying to say is there were black slave owners, and there were. So slave owners were not just white; they were black as well.
Right.
Which that doesn't mean that it's right.
America wasn't the only country to have slavery.
And that doesn't mean that it's right, but I'm just being fair with the facts.
Yeah, I mean,
but what's also
time to grow out of it.
What's also interesting too, like when you want to look at it, this guy John Newton. John Newton wrote "Amazing Grace." I'm a big Christian. One of the biggest Christian hymns in all of Christianity is "Amazing Grace." He was a slave owner, and like himself, he became redeemed by Christ, and he was pro-slavery, and as his life went on, he was fighting for all the slaves for their rights.
We went from slavery to economic slavery.
Right, now it's different. And economic slavery has no color.
No.
The white people, non-white people are, unfortunately, and that's what we're hoping with Donald Trump. Donald Trump with
bring back some prosperity,
bring jobs back.
Yeah.
Even honestly, and I was talking to my friends, and I'm thinking, Trump. They're saying Trump called it corporate inversion, the money outside, because of the taxes. They had money outside the jurisdiction of the United States. Trump wants them to bring it. They're claiming it's like 2.5 million to trillion to like 5 to 10 trillion of corporate money that's outside of the United States jurisdiction because of the taxes. Trump's claiming that if he lowers the taxes, it's going to encourage the corporations to bring the money back in. So that's investments, that's businesses, that's small businesses, that's jobs, that's healthcare, because the small businesses provide the healthcare.
It gets the economy back.
Gets the economy engineered. So he's counting on growth to bring us back. That's interesting. And then I tell you the truth, and I was talking to my lefty friends, I really don't care if Trump's got to do like a New Deal, and actually the government has to stimulate this thing. I don't care, because this is not 1980s. This is like 30 years, almost 40 years later. So I mean, 20, it's like almost 40 years later. So this is a different era with the digital.
Trump made claims during his speeches that he went around the country. Now he's backing it up. Right before the inauguration.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's listing what he's going to do.
Right, and he's already started.
He didn't lie then, and he's not trying to.
He's gonna get rid of NAFTA.
Yeah.
He's gonna get that amended. He's gonna take care of the TPP. That's out. He's cutting taxes for the middle class. Is getting a big tax cut, and he's cutting taxes for the corporations to encourage them to come back into the United States. According to Trump, we lost 70,000 factories over decades. Right. I mean, I don't care, and I said this. I don't care if Trump has to do like a FDR New Deal and stimulate the manufacturing base on our own. Whatever we got to do, like you said, energy independent. Whatever we got to do to stimulate our economy, to create jobs, and they're talking about a $1 billion a $1 billion or $1 trillion stimulus, privately, the money's going to be private funds, according to, I heard it from Mike Pence, I heard it from other people on the Trump team, that they're going to try to go private on this. The shovel-ready jobs, the infrastructure jobs. That's a big beginning of getting these jobs back.
Right.
I mean, truth be told, Obama had all 8 years, and he had the first 2 years of a Democratic
And it
Congress.
was with American steel, American cement, you know.
Right, and then and with Obamacare,
Concrete.
right, exactly. I mean, exactly. And then with Obamacare, you know, I'm for repeal and replacing Obamacare. But whatever Trump wants to do, if he can make it affordable for the preconditions and for kids up to 26 being on the parents' plan, if he can make that, as long as it stays within the Trump model where it's affordable and with there's no borders on the jurisdiction where
small part
where insurance companies can go.
What was the whole deal? 1,700 pages or something?
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Obamacare was ridiculous, and it wasn't.
Pelosi said, "Oh, you got to pass it, and then we'll figure
it out." Right, and it wasn't even, and it wasn't even like a. That's what I love about Trump too. Trump's going to take back all these executive orders, and he's going to try to work with the Congress. And he's going to bring Democrats on board with him. Trump's a very smart. I mean, they're claiming and they have some data to support it that, according to the polls, that Trump is he's already broadened his base already. The poll. I mean, I haven't actually seen the polls. I've heard this from pundits.
This guy's talking intelligently,
right? And he's not just like they're claiming the white high school and some college voter. They're claiming, according to the pundits, that optimism is up according to the polls. I don't know how true that is. I guess it's trending, and I feel it. Optimism up, which is a great thing. That means economy's going to go up. And that's, like Trump said during his speech, the president sometimes has to be like a cheerleader. Because there are a lot of things that are out of the president's hands. A lot of things are just, you got to hope, you put the pieces in place.
He's got to give them the incentive.
Exactly.
And then they'll step up and start things rolling again.
So, I'm excited. We're entering in, this is like the last, we're going into December next week. So we're the last month of the 2016. And I'm floored. When I see Trump raising his right hand on the January 20th, man, it's going to be really sure. I'm not going to believe it. It's amazing. But anyway, this is the Frankie Russo show. You got anything to pop? Anything else before we'll get out of here?
Yeah.
Well, we did over an hour. So they're talking 2,000 jobs. He's trying to keep 2,000 jobs from going to Mexico. That's a guy who hasn't even. That's the carrier. That's a guy who hasn't even. Right?
2,000 jobs. That's only.
He hasn't been even inaugurated yet.
One company, right? Is that Carrier?
Carrier. It's Indiana. So you got anything else? I'm sorry to do Facebook Live tonight because we had something with the We're going to go Facebook Live with the grace of God. Will be next week. I was bumming, man. I wanted to get on the air. I love to broadcast, and I want to thank you, Ernie, for helping me do this. It sounds good.
Yeah, well, we had to let people know out there, just not leave them hanging and waiting for a whole week to see what's going on. I'm sure some people
I rushed over.
will go to YouTube tomorrow once we get it, up and, see what the heck happened.
I rushed over. And you got my phone? Is my phone in my bag?
Your phone.
I want to call the studio.
Call and see.
Let me call and see.
Ringing the board.
Oh, it's in the back of my bag.
Okay.
No, that little bag.
Oh, the little bag.
Yeah, thank you, Ernie.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, see what's doing over at the studio.
Let me call the studio up and see what's going on.
This will be one of the best Frankie Russo shows
I'm
ever,
telling you.
It's like an inside scoop behind the scenes.
I'm telling you, brah. Let's see if anybody answers. I'm calling ABC if anybody. See if anybody answers.
If you have that on speakerphone, we can.
Yeah, I got it. It's on speaker. Nobody's answering. Because they called me.
What are they sleeping?
They missed the Frankie Russo show. The whole crew up there. They missed us.
Were you calling the regular line or the engineering line?
Engineering line.
Mhm.
Let's see if we get him. Probably hanging.
And they're probably drinking champagne with John Batchelor over there.
Oh, those Hillary bots.
Yeah.
Those Hillary bots. Oh my God. And nobody's answering. So we got anything? Because we'll get out of here. What do we got?
Globalism.
Okay, let's hear globalism.
Okay.
Remind everybody what Trump stands for.
All right.
We will no longer surrender this country or its people to the false song of globalism. The nation state remains the true foundation for happiness and harmony. I am skeptical of international unions that tie us up and bring America down. And under my administration, we will never enter America into any agreement that reduces our ability to control our own affairs. Under a Trump administration, no American citizen will ever again feel that their needs come second to the citizens of a foreign country. I will view, as president, the world through the clear lens of American interests. I will be America's greatest defender and most loyal champion. We will not apologize for becoming successful again, but will instead embrace the unique heritage that makes us who we are.
Coming out.
Frankie Russo over here. We'll wind it down. We're gonna go to 2:30. So Donald Trump, we spoke about earlier, 1,500 illegals per day.
Per day.
And they're saying according to Yahoo News, on Drudge reports, Central America's surged north, hoping to reach U.S. before Trump inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
Central American countries warned on Thursday that large numbers of migrants have fled their poor, violent homes since Trump's surprise election win, hoping to reach the United States before he takes office. Wow. Trump won November 8th vote by taking a hard line on immigration, threatening to deport millions of people living illegally in the United States and to erect a wall along the Mexican border. The United States detained nearly 410,000 people along the southwest border with Mexico, up about a quarter from the previous year. The vast majority hail from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras.
And God knows how many OTMs are also in the mix, other than Mexicans.
Wow, Castro died. Fidel Castro died.
Yeah, you don't think that's a hoax? It's for real? Who's reporting?
The Cuban icon Fidel Castro dies at the Yahoo News. The revolutionary leader defied the United States for 50 years, has passed away, according to his brother.
He's been on the way out for quite a long time already.
Drudge don't have it. Drudge don't have it. Wow. Drudge don't have it. So they're saying Castro died. Castro, they claimed that Castro had, he claimed to be making $400 to $800 million, $400 to $800 a month. He's worth $20 million, according to all published reports. Castro's worth $20 million.
Nice, and the whole country is backward.
Right. And
Well,
that's why I was real upset with Obama opening up, because it's really filling the Castro's pockets. He's filling the Castro brothers' pockets, not the people. Now, if they change their way of governing and open up the markets to the people, then we got action.
Good luck on that.
Right, exactly. He's worth $20 million and with 6 to 12 homes in Cuba. This is a revolutionary for the people.
And now his brother takes over.
Right, and that's how these people do. They were after Batista, claiming that he was this tyrannical. He probably was. So being supported by all the corporations, probably was. They got him, they took him out, and they took all his money. All the money and censoring the people, putting the clamps on the people, owning everything. They know, because they know what's best for everybody. Don't you love it? As Obama stands there with a straight face telling everybody that we're going to open up relations with Cuba. What guy opens up relations with Cuba, releases the convicts from the prisons, releases the people that are in prisons, well, if they're in prisons for selling drugs or whatever, low-level crime, whatever they call low-level crimes, I don't know.
They didn't want to spend the money to house them anymore. That's
Right.
why they cut them loose.
But inside those convicts that were released are Nations of Islam individuals that are anti-American, pro-Iran.
And they were in the Cuban prisons too?
Right, and the Cuban, and and they got Gitmo down there. Trump, not Trump, Obama wanted to close Gitmo, and he's saying they're not going to have enough time to do it. Thank God. And by the way, not to get off the thing here, but Trump is talking about bringing back enhanced interrogation tactics, which is interesting, and that's an interesting discussion. We've got a little time. On my research, I watched this video called Spy Masters.
Yeah, McCain made comments that we are not going to waterboard.
Well, McCain has a history, so he went through it. So I'm not negating what he says, but I watched this documentary. It's a highly acclaimed documentary by Showtime. It's called Spy Masters, CIA and the Crosshairs, and it has between 8 to 12 former CIA directors. And according to Mike Hayden, George Tenet, Pete Goss, who else? There was a few others. They claimed that you can't kill forever. So in other words, under the Obama administration, their argument is, well, what do you mean we're soft on ISIS? What do you mean we don't have a strategy? We've killed thousands of radical Islamists with the drones.
Right.
According to the CIA directors, out of their mouths, this is not like writing, they claim you can't kill forever. You're going to have to capture and find out intelligence. Mm-hmm. And that's what Trump is talking about.
Right.
And Trump is saying that, and we spoke about this in 77 WABC, that means if we have to waterboard or do something similar to that, which under the law right now, waterboarding is illegal. So whatever Trump could get away with legally for enhancing the interrogation, we have to capture these guys. I mean, when you really think about it, Osama bin Laden was whacked. I can go through names. Mohammed Omar was whacked. A drone. Mullah Mansour was whacked. Another whacked by a drone. Supreme leader of the Afghan Taliban. Abu Yahya al-Libi was whacked. He was he was going to be the head of the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group. He was whacked by a drone. Anwar al-Awlaki was whacked by a drone. It goes on and on. But guess what? They fill it in. Mushin al-Fadali was whacked. He was the guy, he was down in, remember we talked about it on the show, we talked about, according to the Long War Journal article with Thomas Jocelyn, the New York Times, how this like the Iranian Global Terror Network actually obliterates the Sunni Shia divide. So actually they have like a Sunni Shia connection. And they had according to Thomas Jocelyn in the Long War Journal, with this guy Hirullah, who was one of the Afghan Taliban that was released for Bergdahl, he helped establish an office, Afghan Taliban office in Iran, the Sahadan city of Iran. So according to this research by Thomas Jocelyn, there is a Sunni Islamic militia that has an office in a Shia country, Iran.
Okay.
What's going on here? Right? So the spread, what all these, so what I'm trying to say is, when you're using drones and not capturing these radical Islamists and garnering intelligence, and then using CIA special forces and other means to take them out, we're not eradicating, pulling it from the root. Because all they're doing is, because when Mushin al-Fadali was whacked by a drone, they had this guy Yassin al-Suri was filled in It's like Abu Musab al-Zakwari was the first leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. But that's, according to the mainstream media, that's the beginning of ISIS, which I think is just a media creation.
It's a network. They always have someone to fill in.
It's basically Al-Qaeda affiliates.
Yeah.
ISIS is all Al-Qaeda affiliates. They're Sunni militias, supposedly. But wherever Iran is involved, they're like in Iraq, because Iran now has a piece of Iraq. They want that. They don't want Iran to go rogue, Iraq to go rogue in the region. Mm-hmm. So that's how they have to control. That's how they control. They have the Iraqi government, the Iraqi special forces, which is basically a Shia government. They have some Sunni tribes, and they have
what about the Kurds?
The Kurds are for us, but the Kurds, and they're very successful. But it's very complicated. They have a piece of Iraq, and they're independent too. The Kurds, mm-hmm. They have their own way of governing. That's my understanding. They're independent. I think they maybe even.
We never gave them enough help.
Yeah, but I mean, because Turkey was involved. There was it's complicated because Turkey has a problem with the Kurds, and then with NATO, and it gets very complicated over there. But the truth be told, I mean, we could talk about this all day because we got Hezbollah. How much time we got? We still got time. We got Hezbollah, who's, according to the Breitbart News, is dressing up as Iraqi soldiers. I mean, it's really, and then we're providing air support for the Iran-backed Shia militia with Hezbollah to take out the ISIS. ISIS is a Sunni militia. It's all like, what? I mean, who are these people? I mean, obviously we're on the outside looking in, but on the outside looking in, it doesn't look too good because it's like it gets very confusing.
It's hard to keep track of all that confusion.
Because you got ISIS is supposedly a Sunni militia. The Iraqi government is a Shia government, so a lot of it is Shia militia. And then there's Iran that backs a Shia militia, and then you got the Sunni Arab tribes are with this Sunni Shia militia. So who's ISIS? Who's really ISIS? Who's the Islamic State? The Islamic State in my world is the most dominant Islamic militia in the state or in the region, and I believe that when a push comes to shove, if America has to provide air support to help them move through Mosul, they will. So with the truth be told, I think that wherever Iran is, they're going to get the support of the United States, and they're going to take over the region with these Sunni tribes and these because the Sunni militia basically is supposedly this ISIS, and
Obama held back because he's a member of the Muslim Brotherhood himself.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, at
the very least, he's a sympathizer.
That I think is more accurate. It can be argued that he is a sympathizer. As far as in Muslim Brotherhood, I mean, I'm not sure. His brother is part of this Dawa Council out in Sudan, mm-hmm. who's affiliated with Omar al-Bashir, who's a Muslim Brotherhood, is the highest ranking Muslim Brotherhood in the region. He's the guy that created a safe haven for Osama bin Laden, Simon al-Zawahiri from Al-Qaeda, and the Blind Sheikh. So, I mean...
And this is Obama's brother.
Obama's brother, half-brother. So I don't know, it's that's semantical. I don't claim that to be the case. I don't have unequivocal data to support that, but I do believe he's a sympathizer, as you said.
Right. He's
a stealth jihad radical Islamist sympathizer. And quite frankly, I agree with Donald Trump when Donald Trump says that we talked about this earlier, that Obama and Hillary Clinton are ISIS. They're founders of ISIS. And I gave you one example in Libya.
Their incompetence caused it to.
Well, I don't think it's incompetence. I think they armed. Yeah, it was a plan. They called it in Libya, according to Claire Lopez, they called it Operation Zero Footprint, where they actually armed.
Oh, okay.
An Al-Qaeda affiliate.
They were completely.
So we talk about Al-Qaeda affiliates. Al-Qaeda affiliates is a Libya Islamic fighting group that was headed by 2 Muslim Brotherhood operatives. And this is when I was going through some data, and I was like, wait a second. Mustafa Jalal and Abdul Abdul Hakim Belhaj. He's the guy that took over ISIS in Libya. They delisted this after they took over Gaddafi. It was a fake coup d'etat or a real coup d'etat. But Operation Zero Footprint was this thing with Obama and Hillary Clinton. This is where things got really bad. Through Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. And according to Claire Lopez, who was a 35-year CIA operative, NATO was involved in allowing the weapons to go to this Libyan Islamic fighting group.
Here we go.
Al-Qaeda.
War dogs.
We armed Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda affiliate in Libya. So you're right when you say that's and you're right when you say that they're ISIS. They gave them, and then when it was over, a Mustafa Jalal, who was a Muslim Brotherhood operative, according to Claire Lopez and according to WikiLeaks, gave the execution order of a Libyan general, Yunus, to this guy Abu Katala, who was just captured and detained for the Benghazi hit.
Okay. Yeah.
And the speculation is that he was detained to keep him quiet. They were worried about what he was going to say. So, I mean, it's crazy, you know, and that's why people claim that Obama and Hillary Clinton are ISIS. Obama and Clinton are radical Islamists. When you and it's not just one thing; it's like a pattern. They released 5 Iranian Quds Force leaders out in Erbil, Iraq in 2009. They do the Bergdahl trade, where they send the Hirullah, the governor of Herat province, the Taliban governor, and to Qatar for $5 billion. And you find out that al-Numani, one of the Qatar financiers, is giving money to ISIS, to United States Treasury, giving money to al-Zawahiri, the Al-Qaeda Iran facilitator in Sahad city of Iran. So you look at this thing, and then you got the Palestinian Authority waiving the statute, Obama and Hillary Clinton waiving the federal statutes because you can't give money to Palestinian Authority because they have a cooperative agreement with Hamas, a terrorist entity. And then you got what's his name, Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo. They write an article with the Congressional Research Service claiming that Iran gives Hamas $10 to $20 million annual with rockets to drop on Israel. And then 88 senators wrote a letter to Obama saying, why are we waiving these statutes? Why are we doing this? How do we know that this money is not going to terrorism? How do we know that they're using this for humanitarian aid and national security? And then from there you got Egypt, what they did in Egypt. Egypt is where everything just opens up. Because they threw Mubarak out, they supported Morsi, and Morsi ended up being with Muslim Brotherhood. The Egyptian government ended up doing a takeover. The Sisi did a takeover, threw Morsi out, Muslim Brotherhood, and they filed a complaint in the courts against Morsi on espionage. With who? Iran. You believe that? They were cahoodling with Iran, and they called him a double agent. And who was on that case? Obama and Hillary Clinton. Crimes against humanity. That's great. When you think about that, Iran is partnering up with Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and the government of Egypt, like they did with the blind sheikh. They threw him out. What's his name? Mohammed Abu Lima, the major perpetrator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. They threw him out, and they were like Morsi. They threw Morsi out, and they put him in prison. He's in prison. Then you got Syria. Syria is just unbelievable. What happened over there?
Oh, that's a mess.
Right? Didn't want to do anything. One big fraud, because he's worried about the nuclear deal with Iran. So, you know, he put together Syrian rebels. They called for hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know how much actually went down there. Published reports was 500 million. He did all this stuff. He had this guy, this General Allen, was training these rebels. they ended up actually getting involved, and eventually it was reduced from like 60 to 30 to 9, and then they end up giving their weapons to ISIS. You know, they had to sign a contract, these Syrian rebels, that they're not gonna hit Assad regime, only ISIS. So they went before the committees, and at the time, it wasn't Aston Carter, Chuck Hagel was the DOD at the time, and they asked him, so what's going to happen? I think McCain asked him, so what will happen if the Assad regime fired at these Syrian rebels? What are they going to do? He couldn't answer it. Do you believe that? I mean, these are the policies that we put forth. And then that nuclear deal where we had 150 going back to Iran, and then we came out with all this ransom with the hostages. We gave them 1.7 billion of unmarked bills. And then I talked to people like lefties. They tell me, well, it happened under the Bush administration, so this isn't like a precedent. I said, quite frankly, I don't know if that's true or not. I know Karzai, when Bush was president, Karzai was receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars. He was the president of Afghanistan from Iran in money bags. So I don't know, who knows? But it's crazy. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. We're 2:35.
Yeah.
So that's
had a good run, and hope everybody realizes that you'll be back next Friday.
We're back next Friday, and it was a lot of fun. We had fun with this thing. I went through the Drudge Report. We talked about all the stuff with Trump's doing. We talked about Trump's his thing he did with the SUV, the Ford plant, the SUV line in Kentucky. It was scheduled to go. It was scheduled to go to Mexico, and Trump played a role in it. He was on top of that.
A lot of companies are changing their ideas.
So
they know what's coming.
If Trump is directly or indirectly, he's helping us keep these plants where they are.
Don't worry. They heard what he was saying during the speeches, just like we did. They all never thought he was really going to make it.
They didn't think.
But now it's a whole new, different story.
Absolutely. So
now it's time to say goodbye.
So we're going to get out of here. It was great. I'm over here in Dyker Heights. I broadcast out of ABC 143 straight shows. I was going through withdrawal, bro. I really was. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening and watching. We're gonna Ernie J here is gonna do
It'll be YouTube.
It'll be YouTube tomorrow, and you'll be able to view it if you listen to it and view it. With the grace of God, I was told I'll be on the air next Friday at 77 WABC. So we're gonna follow through on the beginning of the week, make sure that happens. We'll get back on the air next week. We'll do Ustream, and we'll do Facebook Live as well. And
have 50K behind you.
And then plus 50K behind us, the signal. So that's where we are right now. Sounds pretty good, man. I'm floored how good it sounded.
Yeah.
This is the Frankie Russo Show. Yeah. Dyker Heights. Coming out of Brooklyn, New York. Ernie J, the Trump audio guy. He's a professional he does work with, can I say?
Yeah.
And Madison Square Garden Networks. He does a lot of work with television, but he originally started with radio. That's how he started.
November 20th was my 29th year.
Wow. And he actually built the studio that I'm broadcasting at ABC.
ABC.
He was one of the builders. He was one of the builders up there. And the PLG studios as well, right?
What was that?
The PLG studios as well.
PLG.
Wow, that's crazy.
At that time, it was 17 studios and just the 2 stations.
Nice.
Now, what do you got? 4 stations up there?
Yeah, it's like so many, and
there've been a lot of changes.
Can't keep up with them. But anyways, Frankie Russo, yeah. I'll see you in the future. Yeah.